Yo, what up? It's your boy Tyler's Golem, and in this video, we are on day 15, right? Day 15? I'm pretty sure it's day 15, and we are about ready to start opening packs. Let's talk. It's been one crazy last 24 hours, not even last 24, last 7 hours since the new announcement. I did make a video about it recently, just the last few hours, talking about the fact that we will now be able to trade 1-star, 2-star, 1 shiny star, 2 shiny star cards with each other. This means that we will be able to trade and exchange Giratina, shiny Dark Rise. A lot of uncertainty here. I think it's overall good news. I think a lot of people are going to come back to the game, but there's still things that are left unanswered. Perfect example is, what exactly are the criteria for trading? There was someone on Discord that says something like you need to have 3 copies of a 2-star in order to trade. There were some people that said you need that you don't need that. There's a lot that I'm not sure about. The other thing I forgot to mention is you can apparently trade things that are in the active set. So like when the new mega set comes out in November, you should be able to trade those cards right from the get-go. You don't have to wait another month for those cards to be tradable. They will be immediately tradable, which I think that's a very, very good thing. I think that would be huge, to instead of having to wait an entire month. Being able to trade those cards would be very, very good. And so what does this mean for the game? What does that mean for my channel? Because my channel has since been about opening up packs, finding rare, shiny things to get. And it's interesting because 2 stars, while it's great that they're tradable, it means they will be more accessible. And that means possibly not as special when it comes to, when it comes to opening up packs, and things that we should be focusing on now would be immersives and crown rares, because those will not be tradable. So now we have this dynamic, right? This new dynamic where we're talking about cards that can or cannot be traded. You've got the Deluxe EX packs, and these cards obviously will probably be tradable. People are saying that they're not considered promos, they're considered part of a regular set. And that's also interesting because that means that these cards may not be as heavily, people shouldn't, maybe not so crazy about opening up cards from this set anymore, because you can just trade with other people whatever card you want. So that's also another interesting thing. I think overall it's good news. It's making the game more accessible, but it's also changing the dynamics. Change is what we're talking about here. Change is the name of the game, and I think that we have to be cognizant of the fact that change is inevitable, but the more things change, the more they stay the same. Promos, unfortunately, are not going to be possible to trade at this time, as far as I'm concerned. I've talked to people about it. Apparently there was a video on how this is going to look like, and it seems like from that video, where there was speculation, it's just not going to be possible to trade promos just yet. But there is a valid reason for that, right? The reason is that what you have here are situations where there's going to be promos that are full art, there's going to be promos that are 4 diamond, there's going to be a lot of different promos out there that are just going to be like up in the air. We don't know, like for all intents and purposes, people are saying that a promo is a promo, and people are treating promos the same, so that a common promo is treated the same as an EX promo, which is treated as the same as a shiny promo. And there are some promos that there's only 1 copies of, so what are you going to do in that situation? Are you just going to give that copy away to someone? Might not be easy. And so we've got this situation here where Some people theorize that promos from promo A will be tradable once promo B is available, but that also doesn't make any sense if you think of the context of, okay, well, now all the sets are going to be tradable at the time that they're active. Because but if we were to follow that logic, then by the time promo B comes out, every promo in promo B should be active, and so that rule wouldn't really apply to the promos, which is also another inconsistency if that were the case. So right now we're just speculating. There's not really like a clear-cut answer, yes or no. We still don't know a lot of things about this. Ooh, nice, Lily. Let's go. All right, that's awesome. Very good pull there. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, because we still don't have all the answers. And the other thing that we don't know about is flaring. So apparently the flares are going to be a little bit different too, is the rumor. That flares are going to be treated slightly differently, and that you will no longer require duplicates. Now, this is something that I haven't seen from any official manner. I've only heard people talking about this, and it is something that I don't 100% know. Again, a lot of this is still speculation. A lot of things, I'm sure half of the things I'm saying right now may or may not come to fruition. They're just simply things that people were talking about and that I heard through the grapevine. So with that said, what are we doing here? We are opening up packs. We're going to continue to open up packs from this set until we get more clarity from the future. The hunch is that these cards will be available at some point in the future. Right now, they will only be available until the 30th. We don't have an ETA on when they will be available again in the future. Some people theorize that the Deluxe EX set will be available in part 2, maybe a Mega, which could be good or bad. Could be bad in the sense that some of these cards might not be available for, a reprint, a full-on like exact reprint, which means that again, it goes back to the whole exclusivity thing. And I think that the exclusivity aspect of this game is alluring, but it also means that it's going to be kind of a gatekeeping. People are not going to have access to everything, and that's just the way it's going to be. People are just going to have to live with that. I have to live with the fact that I'm probably never going to see Lapras CX ever again, unless something changes. And the other thing is, like, people are saying you don't need Lapras CX, right? You don't need that card. Well, that's true. I think I'd be more happy if they made shiny versions of those cards as reprints in future sets. So, for example, Lapras EX, if they reprinted that as a shiny EX in, like, let's say the next set or whatever, I'd be pretty happy about that. I think that would make me feel like, okay, you know what? These cards might be out of favor. They might never be reprinted, but at the very least, maybe we'll have a chance to open them again in the future as a regular. Can you believe that might be? I think that might be the second or third parallel foil rare candy. I have like so many of the crown rares, it's crazy. But yeah, no, it's very interesting how things are going right now, and I'm excited for the future, but I'm also a little anxious about the future, because things are changing, and that when things change in this game, that means that our channel changes as well, because we have to play around whatever the decisions are made in this game. Because one thing that we also didn't talk about, right, is the fact that Pokemon TCG Pocket did not do well financially over the last few months. That was something that was brought up to me. That was something that was mentioned in YouTube. Other channels have been talking about it, how their sales reports showed that their numbers went down. Even though they still made millions of dollars, they made significantly less millions of dollars compared to what they made in the beginning of the year. So that is something to keep in mind. The game I don't know if it's on a decline. I wouldn't necessarily call it that because it's still incredibly popular. But people are saying to themselves, well, there is an end to everything, and as popular as this game is, everything comes to an end. We've seen it happen with Clash of Clans. We've seen it with Clash Royale. Games get popular. They lose popularity. Sometimes they come back and they have a little bit more popularity. It's really hard to say for sure, but what I would say is this. Pokemon is a franchise that is pretty significantly established. And if I were a betting man, I'd probably bet on Pokemon over any other franchise to make it. And I've talked about this in other venues as well, that if there were a franchise, if there were something that would last, let's say hypothetically the next 100 years. I'm not saying Pokemon's going to last 100 years, but it has a better shot at lasting 100 years over other card games, over other games. Like who's going to remember Digimon or Yu-Gi-Oh? People remember Pokemon because that's like the way more popular franchise, right? Everyone knows Pokemon. And Pokemon has way more money than these other companies. It has the backing of Nintendo. It has tons of mobile games. It has the backing of all these other, it has a card game, it has a video game, it has multiple video games, it has a movie, it has a TV show, by the way, that's coming out on Netflix, I believe. So there's a lot of things that Pokemon is doing that is making it stand out from all these other games, from these other franchises. So as much as people like to hate on Pokemon and say, oh, the card game is bad, the video game is bad, they're getting greedy. Oh, there's a lot of things people are saying about Pokemon, but the fact of the matter is, Pokemon is doing well. It is. I mean, maybe the card game made less sales this month than they did a few months ago, but Pokemon overall is doing well. And if I had to invest in a game, in something, it's got to be Pokemon, right? Now, I'm not really saying I'm investing in like a physical cards. I'm not saying that at all. I'm spending money on a mobile game that has no resale value, that has no liquidation aspect to it. I buy these packs, I'm not getting the money back, and that is something that I'm okay with, right? We live with these things. We spend money knowingly what we're expecting. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I have the money to spend on it. I'm doing this for myself and also for the enjoyment. But keep in mind, I'm not just spending money willy-nilly. I've always said this time and again that I have a purpose when it comes to picking things up. I opened up the Space Time Smackdown event, set to open up Darkrai and also to max out the Dialga. The fact that the 2 stars are going to be tradable, to me, that means that they may be less special. Even the Deluxe EX cards, even the Deluxe EX 2 stars are less special in this situation. And so this actually ironically makes me want to spend more money on the game, because if we want exclusivity, if we want cards that are really shiny, I think that the Crown Rares are a little bit higher up than these 2 stars are. The 2-star metal rares from the Deluxe EX set, I was thinking that they were going to be incredibly rare, and that they were going to be cards that were just basically unobtainable. After this month is over, you're just not going to see them. But now that we know that they're tradable, that changes things a lot, right? That changes the equation by a million times. Because now we know that we should probably be focusing our efforts. Nice. Lunala EX is a good one. We should be focusing our efforts on possibly going back and getting some of these crown rares, because the crown rares are not tradable. They're exclusive, and they're pieces. They're game pieces that have a lot of allure to them and have a lot of internal value. And they don't have, like, obviously they don't have resale value or anything like that, but they hold value nonetheless. All right, so we opened up some good stuff today. I had a nice little talk with y'all. This is just kind of I don't really know what to call this video. I think I'm just going to label it change, because we're right now in the middle of, almost in the middle of the month. The set is about halfway over, and we are looking towards the second half of this set, where we try to open up as much as we can. I think I'm still going to exchange Flare for some of these duplicates. However, there is something that I gotta mention, and that is, once again, we have this recurring theme of change in this video, where it seems like people are they're changing the way Flare works. I think I was told that they're going to change the way Flare works, and so some of these cards are not going to be, you're not going to need duplicates of these cards to Flare them. So that's the thing I don't know, and this is what I've heard people say, that you're no longer going to need duplicates of a card to Flare them. There's going to be other criteria, like maybe you exchange Shine Dust. I don't know. Some people are saying that there's a specific criteria you have to meet in order to Flare out a card, but so far things have been not very specific in that regard. I don't know exactly what the impressions, what this entails. There's still a lot left to unravel here. We don't have all the details. I mentioned to someone in the comments before that I'm resistant to trading Professor's research right now. I know that people are going to want Professor's research from me. There is something I do have to talk about regards to that, but I don't necessarily want to talk about it in this video. I probably will hold off on it until maybe a future video, or I might not mention it at all, because it's quite personal, and let's just say for now I have my personal reasons for not wanting to trade certain 2-stars, which I may or may not get into in the future. I have a lot of Lucamines though, so I'm totally fine with trading maybe 1 or 2 Lucamines to people if that's what they need. I think I have like 6 or 7 Lucamines. I have a bunch of Lucamines, so that's not going to be an issue. But anyway, as we wrap up the video, oh wow, yes, that is awesome. Okay, well, this took a turn. We've opened up how many 2-stars now? This was a very good video. That was a very, very nice last pack magic end to the video. I believe that is it for now, and thank you so much for watching. Again, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I will be uploading more and more Deluxe Pack EX openings throughout the rest of the month, in spite of this new update. These new announcements. We will talk more about the announcements later on, and I'll see you all in the next